So this year, because a lot of things have already been canceled due to COVID.
It's a class we've had to change a lot this year.
My expectations were kind of a bit on the lower side.
It's a cliche at this point, but the first 4 months of the 2020 school year have been a year like no other.
Hybrid days, remote days, plexiglass barriers, masks, and more.
No sports, no plays.
No after-school activities.
And yet here we are in the final days of 2020 and we are still in school. How have we done it and what was it like to go through?
With the vaccinations beginning all across the country as we record, these restrictions will soon be a thing of the past, and eventually, one day, the memories will begin to fade.
One day, 2020 will no longer be a noun that means disappointment, frustration, opportunities delayed, and opportunity lost.
One day, 2020 will go back to being just a number.
But right now, in the middle of it all, it is important for us to remember just exactly what this fall was like, to create a video time capsule, if you will. B&B presents A Semester Behind the Glass, Life in a COVID-Restricted School.
From the moment we arrive at school in the morning, 2020 has changed everything. We used to walk in, hang out with our friends, go to our lockers, and sit on the senior ledge. To see just how much everything has changed, here's B&B's Rob Caminetti.
Just got to school at about 7:20 and I got to fill out my questionnaire. Can't forget my mask.
While some schools are fully remote, the Bellmore-Merrick district schools have implemented new morning procedures in order to make sure no one gets infected. Kids already come in with masks and sit behind dividers, but during the morning, the kids have to get their temperature taken and complete an app and show administration. These changes have affected everyone's morning routine, but everyone was quick to adjust to the different mornings here.
I think it's pretty good considering everything that's going on right now with taking the temperatures and making sure everybody is filling out the forms to keep us safe.
I think it's really efficient, and I think it's a great way to keep safety precautions for all students.
Mornings can be a little chaotic trying to get everybody into school in order to get into first period with the new protocols. We have to have everybody's temperature checked as well as make sure that they filled out the app, which requires them to do some COVID screening prior to entering the school.
One thing I'm proud of, I think, well, as a whole, I think the building has done an amazing job with being able to stay in front of everything. The fact that we're talking in November and we are still running a full in-school model in addition to the other models, I think says a lot about what we've done as a building.
Even though mornings here at Mepham have become more challenging and delaying our time to get to class and enjoying seeing our friends, it is all worth it in the end to keep us safe. For B&B, I'm Rob Caminetti.
Every period of the day brought new challenges that had never been considered before. What does an art class look like behind barriers? What is gym class like for weeks when we couldn't even throw a ball back and forth? B&B's junior class has explored these new challenges earlier this year. Here's B&B's Alyssa Romandetto and then Luke Melfa on the challenges in art and gym behind the glass.
Life during the pandemic has changed ways of life all around the world, and Mepham art classes are no different. With the new COVID restrictions, art classes are a whole new ballgame for teachers to tackle.
Well, knock on wood, the infection rate at Mepham is still really low, and I think that says a lot about not only our student body remaining safe, but it also says a lot about the safety and health protocols that we have in place. So overall, I would say it's been very successful so far. It hasn't been easy, but as long as we continue on this track, overall students will be pleased to hear that we'll keep school open.
It's interesting. It's a lot of creative thinking, so I guess in that sense maybe it's good for our teachers, but it's challenging. I mean, the plexiglass is obviously already there thanks to the custodians, but having individual small-scale visuals set for each kid so they can look up and see right there what it is that I'm talking about without having to go move things. They also have their own supplies.
It's not just teachers who have to deal with the new changes. Students now also have to accommodate for the restrictions put in place to keep us all safe.
Certain times it does become difficult to create what you want to create because of how everything needs to be put with using the barriers and needing to give everybody space. But overall, it's challenging, but we got through it. We've been getting through it for the past 2 months, so we've been fine.
I think the students have adapted much better than the adults have. I feel that the students are willing to be here every day, willing to put the work in, and it's the adults who have had a harder time adapting, but they're doing the best they can. The artistic talent has not suffered at all during the pandemic. These kids are showing their truest colors, their finest work. It really has been an amazing thing to watch.
Even with all of these new rules we have to follow, students and teachers are making the most of it and continue to impress the community around them.
How they've overcome the challenge of going strictly digital has been pretty interesting and very impressive.
For B&B, I'm Melissa Roman.
The world is changing, that's no secret. But in these confusing times, teachers are trying to find the best ways to teach their classes. While people have begun to adjust, one class that has it much harder than the rest is gym class.
Well, I think that phys ed as a whole, all the teachers I think are expecting or have the same expectations for the students that we've always had. I don't think that any of that has changed. I think that our expectations are a little different in the sense of we need to work with whatever challenges we're being faced with, whatever limitations that we have. So, but overall, I would say that the expectation of getting students out here, getting students to be social, getting students to be active, I would say that that's all the same as it's always been.
Gym class is the one period when students can enjoy sports and other activities other than their typical paper-pencil writing assignments. However, with the current safety precautions being taken around the world, gym class has been altered to fit the needs of said regulations.
Obviously, as a phys ed person, I would love to see kids being engaged in activities and team sports and all of the other activities that we do, but again, because of the limitations, we've had to, make it a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere.
We were always outside just walking the track and just like playing soccer sometimes.
Last year we obviously got to not wear masks, a lot more interaction with passing the ball, got to play indoor sports more. They don't really let us play basketball during a rainy day. It's more just like walking around the gym. So that's definitely the main difference.
Though sports are extremely difficult to organize in the current climate, the gym teachers have found ways to make the class enjoyable.
Well, as far as outdoor activities go, we are walking. Our goal is to keep students moving, so we're able to have a frisbee catch, we're able to kick around a soccer ball, we're able to do small group activities, limiting team sports. We can't do that yet, but there's going to be a whole lot of activities that we're going to be able to do once we move back inside.
Due to current safety protocols, all gym classes are being held outside. The only problem, what happens when the weather gets worse?
So yes, we've been very fortunate that we've had a bunch of nice days, warm days. Again, I'm in a t-shirt, we're in the middle of November, so when we're outdoors, it hasn't presented much challenges. When we move inside, given the nature of being limited to, at this point, to 2 gymnasiums, we're going to rotate. We're going to, provide various activities. We've been showing films in the North Gym, documentaries, and we're going to make do with what we have for, given the space that we've been provided.
Despite all the problems that have arisen because of this virus, the students are more than grateful for the effort the gym teachers have put in to make the class work.
They're very nice. They help us out. They know the problems they know the struggles of going through gym. They know, especially now with the COVID, so they're a little bit more lenient, especially having kids online, it's very difficult for them, so I just want to make their lives a little bit more easier.
For B&B, I'm Luke Mova.
Gym and art weren't the only areas radically changed by the coronavirus. The cafeteria used to be a place where kids could kick back and unwind with their friends in the middle of the day, but try to talk to your friends 6 feet apart and from behind multiple sets of barriers. B&B's Emily Yacht has more on what lunch was like in 2020.
It's a lunch period like no other. Fifth period, or freshman lunch as it's called here in Mepham, has always been the biggest.
So what we did is we looked at all the other locations within the building, Of course, we are using our east and west cafeterias. We then determined that we could fit a large amount of students in our north gym. So that's another area where students are eating. And then the remaining students we decided to house in our auditorium, and we are allowing our students to split time between the auditorium and the cafeterias so that every student here at Mepham has an opportunity to eat during 5th period.
The result? Cafeterias in strange places.
It's good. It's a good opportunity to see all your friends and talk to them like a break in the day. But it's a little weird being separate from everybody and like talking to everybody. It's a little different.
They are one of the lucky ones. The students eating in the gym get to stay there for the entire period. For the rest of the 9th grade...
All right, folks, time to clean up, mask up, and head over to the auditorium. Let's go.
I think it's a little bit short, just 20 minutes, because it takes like 10 minutes for the lunch line, and then I have no time to eat.
Opening new places to eat and repurposing other spaces has led to some expected and unexpected challenges.
It just makes it different for people to be able to socialize behind barriers and masks. And it's a bit challenging, and I just feel a little bit badly for those folks, but they've been dealing greatly. You know, they've been doing a great job with it.
For B&B, I'm Emily Yucht.
With all of the changes that this school year, I can only imagine how hard it must be for a new freshman to be adjusting to life in a new school in this environment. B&B's Riley Freed has more on how the expectations they had as 8th graders met the reality of life as a freshman in the COVID world.
When you hear the words freshman year, plastic barriers, masks, and remote instruction are not necessarily what you'd normally expect.
I don't think they knew what to expect. I don't think anyone knew what to expect.
The first day of high school was, it can be nerve-wracking at any time, right? And then to have that be the first time you're in a school after all those months, I'm sure it was really rough for some people.
For Ms. Zambori, Mr. Fisher, and the rest of the teachers at Grand Avenue, it was hard saying goodbye to their 8th graders in the middle of a pandemic. But they knew that Mepham would be a welcoming place for them to come, even if the new freshmen had some nerves on the first day.
I have no idea what to expect because we've never really experienced anything like this before.
And I was expecting that all the COVID restrictions and stuff would really impact the way we learn. And it would really just negatively affect the school year.
The new freshmen themselves might have been nervous about the new school they were going to, but the teachers at Mepham were ready for their arrival.
They've been waiting for this opportunity to get here, so I think when they got here, they saw that the Mepham community was really trying hard to make sure that classes were safe and classes were appropriate, that we could run into murals when we could. They're doing music outside, you know what I mean? I think they're trying to, I think they're happy that they're here.
Your freshman year of high school is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You go to a new school, learn new things, and meet all sorts of new people. The class of 2024 had to do all that separated by 6 feet, behind plastic barriers with a mask covering half of their faces.
Well, lunch is really different. We don't get to sit there in front. It's normally grand. And it was very different because we had to wear masks and all the dividers, and it's just different, but it's still good. It's better than what we could have had.
So, how do they think they're doing?
It's been a lot better than I thought it would be. I didn't expect it to last this long. I thought we were going to be closed a long time ago.
And I wasn't really expecting to be able to do that. So I'm really satisfied with my freshman year so far.
For B&B, I'm Riley Freed.
It's not just freshmen that need to adjust to life in a new school. For a host of teachers, 2020 was their first experience leading a class. Here's B&B's Luke Malfa once more, this time on the challenges of starting a teaching career in the time of the coronavirus.
This year has been very difficult for many students and teachers. But what about the teachers who just started teaching right now? From being virtual for the beginning of the year to now being in school full-time, they had an unusual start to their teaching career.
So some difficulties, definitely, just getting to know the kids right off the bat because of the way kind of COVID, messed everything up in terms of school. Just definitely getting to know my kids and also just getting to know the building and the school environment in general was kind of tough. See, COVID, as a first-year teacher, as a first-time, really, teaching, COVID hasn't really affected me as much. I understand that it affects the kids, but, it's a learning process, especially as a first-year teacher, and, it's a learning process for everything. So, I don't, this is the first time I'm teaching, without, with the COVID and without anything else. So COVID has been kind of normal. This has kind of been a normal way to teach.
In mid-August, we got the green flag to come to school on September 8th. A lot was going through these teachers' minds about trying to prepare for a start of a school year like no other.
First day of teaching this year, a lot of unknown, right? Didn't know if we'd be full in person to go the whole way or if we'd be shutting down pretty fast. So definitely a lot more just kind of unknown and seeing what was going to happen, but so far so good. First day of teaching was an awesome day. Going through my mind really was just about the kids. Just trying to make them feel comfortable with everything going on, wearing the mask, staying socially distanced, especially in the first day, everyone wasn't here. So I was just trying to get the kids accustomed to everything and then, worrying about the teachers and yourself after that because, it's always with the kids.
This pandemic will eventually die down and we will return to normalcy very soon, and these teachers have a bright future ahead of them.
I think these teachers are going to be even better than they would have been pre-pandemic because I think they've learned so much in a really short amount of time that they're going to take with them in their future and apply when we get back to normal. So I think that they're going to be even better than they would have otherwise been.
We wish the best to all these teachers as they start their promising teaching careers. For B&B, I'm Luke Melfa.
As difficult as this year has been for newcomers, having 2020 be your last year in high school has made life difficult for the graduating class of 2021. For more on how the seniors have handled a semester behind the glass, here's B&B's Lily Yepes.
With no homecoming, battle of the classes, and the final sports season of their student careers, you couldn't blame the class of 2021 for being down at the start of the school year.
It shut down a lot of things. It canceled a lot of our events like homecoming and battle of the classes, which is something that I wish we could have had, but it's just good to be back in school.
Things like our fall play, we couldn't have that for the drama club. Any sports events, homecoming, it's a major crowd, sports have to, New York State, most contact sports and competition can't really happen.
So like the social interaction of the sports, being able to play with my friends and coaches and interact in that way.
It's not just the seniors who feel the sense of loss.
So we would normally have our winter concert sometime this month. It is so strange that we will not be doing a winter concert. It's the first time these students won't have a winter concert in their high school experience, which is definitely heartbreaking.
That'd be Poetry Out Loud. Unfortunately, we've had that program running for probably about 13 years or so, and this is the first year where, it's pretty difficult to perform a poem wearing a mask and have an event like as we did in the past.
I think Battle of the Class is one of the first things that comes to mind. I probably think about that, like at that night where it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior or whatever you are. It showcases everything that's great and beautiful about being a pirate.
With both the seniors and the faculty missing out on what makes school special, what could they do to make this year memorable for the class of 2021?
So I've been trying to encourage people to really just try and get engaged with school things because if this year showed anything, we have to take what we can get and be grateful for what we have.
It was definitely going to be a more tough year. I was taking higher classes than I usually do, but I took it as an opportunity to improve myself.
And the faculty have been impressed with the way the class of 21 has approached this most remarkable of years.
I think that they're doing really well. I think that they are coming in every day with a smile on their face. They know that they have to get some work done. They realize that they're in a very unique situation and a position where they have to take that independent level of learning to a whole nother level because they have never really experienced this before.
I think that, I want them to realize that no matter what's going on in the world community, they can be in the global community, your home community, it doesn't matter. They have a voice and they have power and they can invoke any change they want with a lot of hard work. And I think the seniors have done that, Maybe I'm not in person, maybe I'm behind a barrier, maybe, you know, I'm doing my work on my phone, but they can still do anything.
The staff and the seniors agree that in these trying times, the only way to make the most of the situation is by doing it together.
Yeah, it sucked to have everything that we thought we were going to have to be taken away from us, but everybody did their best. The faculty and the staff did a great job of making it the best that it could be for us.
Try to keep my head up high and try to just keep going forward and try to take one step at a time. And if something gets canceled, you got to just brush it off.
I think we are doing a fantastic job of just trying to give them the good MEPM experience.
From MEPM High School, where we're all taking it one step at a time, for B&B, I'm Lily Epez.
Even with all the challenges, seniors and students across MEPM continue to make the best of a bad situation every day. For weeks, members of the senior experience classes have been visiting the community cupboard to bake goods as part of their service learning project. Jake Winkleman has the story.
This year, the Community Cupboard is helping the community by baking treats for the people in need. The participation in government classes went to the cupboard to help give back to the community for Thanksgiving.
We're here today to bake for the families in our community that use the Community Cupboard to give them some treats.
We can come together and show that we care for our community.
The students all came together for a good cause.
We're learning how to work with each other and just give back to the community who's less fortunate.
The social studies teachers are all very proud of how hard their students work.
I think it's just a chance for us to have a chance to bond, with our kids and for our kids to work together since so much of, their senior year has been taken away. They get a chance to do something and see that you can make a difference in somebody's life with the simplest of tasks.
This experience is truly one that the students as well as the teachers of MEPM High School will never forget. From B&B, I'm Jake Winkleman.
2020 has also changed the way athletics and extracurricular activities work as well. Despite the delays and cancellation of the sports seasons in October, the district was able to begin an intramural program. B&B's Billy Kender has more.
The start of spring intramurals is a step in the right direction, which is really important. Students are more than excited to get back on the field after they missed their last spring season due to the coronavirus.
I'm excited. I think we've been working really hard to try and get the team back together after losing our season last year, and it's a really good opportunity to get out and see all the guys again and see who else is going to be joining us this year.
Seniors are extremely happy that they're back on the field as well because, this could be their last opportunity to play with their friends. Obviously, it means a lot to them. They grew up their whole life around the community because we're just so close together. Everyone's working hard, and it just means a lot to them.
I'm happy that intramurals are back, so I'm able to play the sport I love again and to see the people that make me happy to play the sport I love.
This is not only something the players are benefiting from, but also the coaches. The coaches feel it's really cool that they're allowed to spend time with their players and practice, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, but also they're getting good practices, also being safe.
Well, obviously it's quite cold, but coaching for the past 2 decades, we do coach through the winter, so this is nothing new to us. We do have a winter program where we work outdoors, so the boys, we get them moving and they stay nice and warm.
Students are describing the mask as somewhat alright because obviously the masks are allowing them to be back out on the field, but also it's hard for them to breathe. They have to wear it underneath their helmets, underneath their shields, and for the lacrosse it's really hard for them to run and stuff full speed when they're wearing these masks.
Yes, we have to wear masks, and it's weird playing with a mask on. Sometimes it's hard to breathe, but it's good that we're stopping the spread of the coronavirus.
As varsity players begin to commit to colleges, it's almost a sigh of relief for the coaches, as they now have more time to spend with the players and have a greater impact on the team due to the fact they have more time now.
It feels a little different because I think it adds a level of responsibility as yourself, a committed player.
Players couldn't be happier to get back on the field. It's a sigh of relief as we are almost back to normalcy, as they get to hang out with their friends, to play the sports they love, and enjoy being a high school student that they are. From B&B, I'm Billy Kender.
It's not just athletics that have found a way to keep kids involved. The concert in the courtyard brought together members of the MEPM Band, the Chamber Orchestra, and MEPA Capella to fill the afternoon with music. For what it was like to create music while 12 feet apart, here's B&B's Chris Atesh.
This is a spit valve. Put another way, it's a droplet collector, and you can find one on every brass instrument in the MEPM Symphonic Band.
Nobody is sharing a woodwind or a brass instrument. They all have their own. But I will say that everybody has been given a little spray of sanitizer to wash their mouthpiece out with each day. We also gave trombone players, they have the what's called a snake to clean out the inside of their instrument. And everybody has a bell cover. Every instrument, with the exception of flutes, has this at the end. It's another barrier to protect what we have.
And it's not just the physical restrictions of cleaning and spacing that makes high school music classes more difficult.
The new adjustments for COVID are necessary, but honestly a bit weird because I'm 12 feet apart from anyone else. And it's not affecting me that bad. It's not really that big of a deal, but it was nicer to be closer, but again, it's necessary.
We have enough time to practice because it's pretty much just the same period as last year, just with separation and in the different room.
December is normally a time when music fills the halls here at MEPM as friends and family pack into the auditorium. But with COVID restrictions currently in place, it's an open question as to how these concerts will happen.
At this time, we can't have indoor large events as of today. However, that could always change. It all depends on the infection rates and how well students and families outside of the community are following protocols. So right now, we're really focusing more on the process, more so than the product. So the process really is what students are doing in class, and the product would eventually be the concerts. I know that some teachers may be playing around with some virtual events, and hopefully by the springtime, this will be a non-issue, and we'll be able to have those concerts. But holiday, it's still up in the air. I'm not sure whether or not we're going to have them given the current constraints.
Even with all this uncertainty, Mr. Brandafino and the MEPM Band continue to play on.
We're still here, we're still playing. Even the other day, third period Symphonic Band was here, and we were really, they were playing. I posted on the Instagram page something that they had played, and it was really a nice moment because for the first time in a long while, it felt normal.
It wasn't just the MEPM Music Department that had to adjust to the restrictions. Even here at B&B, we needed to figure out a way to have two hosts on screen at the same time, and that's where Studio B came from. Here's B&B's Hannah Broxmeyer on how Studio B came to be and what it has meant for B&B in the time of COVID.
Many viewers of B&B shows like the Midweek Update and Morning Announcements have wondered how these shows have continued to air throughout the restriction-filled beginning of this school year. This has been accomplished through the use of Studio B. Because of COVID-19 restrictions, our anchors can't record next to each other without masks on. For the first few episodes of the Morning Announcements, they took turns recording one at a time so they could be socially distanced, but in order to allow the anchors to have authentic conversations and to make editing the shows less difficult, another solution was found.
Studio B is kind of our auxiliary studio for now. We're trying to still have the host be next to each other and be able to talk to each other, but within these COVID guidelines, you can't be 6 feet. You have to be 6 feet apart, and in our studio, that's really not possible right now while having your mask off. So we started Studio B with our teleprompter and our camera that's still connected to our network and to our TriCaster, but it's just a secondary room that is still connected within our studio.
Every time a show, like the announcements or midweek update, is recorded, this secondary studio must be set up and connected to our control room by the B&B crew members.
So I set up Studio B every 9th period to make sure that they're ready for the midweek update and morning announcement shows. The way I set it up is everything is bunched up in this corner away from the teachers that are here throughout the day, so we're not really invading their space. But I just pretty much come in here to set it up to make sure that everything is ready to go, so that we're not wasting and spending time, shooting time, setting it up.
We had to, first we just kind of went through all the equipment we needed and then thought how would that connect back to the TriCaster. And once we did that, we We measured out how far away the camera is from the anchor inside the studio, and then we measured that same distance inside Studio B so they look the same on camera. And then we brought in a light kit to try and replicate what we have in the studio.
Although things aren't the same as before the restrictions, the crew and anchors try their best to make shows seem as authentic as if everyone was in one room.
I don't find it that it's more difficult, I just find it's less fun and enjoyable because back when I was allowed to be next to my co-anchor, it was a lot more fun and we used to, make jokes next to each other. Now it's, I'm saying things in my ear and then it's delayed and then eventually I'll get a laugh, so it's not the same, but it's not hard.
So always with broadcasting there will be difficulties. That just comes with the program in itself. So sometimes with the lighting, it could look a little off. It could be obvious to some that they're in two different studios, others may not notice it. It really depends on how that certain person looks at it.
I think this should continue until we have the ability, the green light, to go back to normal. Once we're allowed to take our masks off and be together, I do not think this should be continuing. I just think it's better to, it's better to have the connection with your co-anchors or, for the midweek updates, the morning announcements, all those shows. It's better to be together than to be far apart. So I just feel once this is over, we should have this Studio B.
Setting up and recording from two different studios has its difficulties, but it's the best solution on how to create the B&B shows we all know and love, while keeping everyone safe. From B&B, I'm Hannah Braxmeyer.
Studio B has truly been a lifesaver for all the shows at B&B, including Midweek Update, the morning announcements, and even what we're filming right now.
It has definitely helped keep us going. For all the challenges of this school year compared to what it could have been, I'm thankful that we've been able to be here to rise the challenges all together.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and we're not the only ones who are thankful for what we've had so far in 2020. But don't take our word for it. Here's a little something put together by B&B's Aiden McLaughlin.
I'm thankful for the faculty in Bethlehem who are making school safe, my family, and my friends.
I'm thankful for the security guards for keeping us safe this year.
I'm thankful for my mom. She got me through this whole coronavirus.
I'm thankful for my whole family and everything that my mom has done.
I'm just thankful that I'm here with all my friends and my teachers, ready to learn about broadcasting arts.
I'm thankful for all the faculty for being able to keep their school safe and let it be open.
I'm thankful for my family. It's been pretty hard to see them, but every time we do see them, we're always thankful for the time we get to share.
I'm thankful for my family, my friends. I'm thankful for my pets and just for all the people in my life that I know are here for me.
I'm thankful to the administration that they were able to put procedures in motion that allows us to do what we do, and that's to roll and to educate with kids.
I'm very thankful that we're all able to be in school and that I haven't got stuck with COVID yet. Thankful for my family, my friends, everything that I've been blessed with, having a roof over my head, being able to still play sports right now, and just that everything's going pretty well so far.
In 2020, I'm thankful for my family and friends and that everyone stayed healthy. Obviously, I still get to see my family and I get to see my friends, but not as much. But I'm still happy that everyone stayed healthy and everyone's still enjoying life.
Well, I'm definitely thankful for all of my friends and all of my teachers for trying to make this year as normal as possible. I know that it won't be the same, but I just really appreciate everyone putting their best in every day.
I'm thankful for my friends and teachers this school year.
So I'm especially thankful for the amount of hard work and effort the teachers put in to keep us all safe and keep us in school and keep us learning.
I'm thankful for the teachers for making really responsible decisions, for being able to keep the school open in a hard time like this.
I'm thankful I get to watch football every Sunday. I'm a Jets fan.
I'm thankful for all of our help in broadcasting and that we're all safe and nobody is sick.
I'm thankful that we're all back in school along with our teachers and our friends again.
I'm thankful for everyone doing their part during these challenging times.
I'm thankful for my Bethlehem family. That includes students, teachers, and the community here, because if it wasn't for all stakeholders, all constituents here, we would not be open and we would not have the year that we've had so far. There's a lot of restrictions in place, and I know that they're difficult and challenging for many students, but at the end of the day, I hear from parents and I hear from students daily rooting. They tell me they're happy that school is open, they're happy that they're here.
So that's our semester behind the glass.
We hope you enjoyed the look inside our school and our classrooms.
If you're watching this now at the end of 2020, we hope you appreciate all that we have done together to get to this point, and that you'll all continue to do the good work you've been doing this year to keep us behind the glass and in school. And remember, 2021 is still going to be a challenge, so it's not over yet.
And if you're watching this years from now, to look back on 2020 or to learn what it was like in a school, know that this was a year like no other. But through the Herculean efforts of our administrators, our teachers, our staff, parents, and our friends, we rose to every challenge that was thrown our way. And we'll always remember what we did behind the glass.
For B&B, I'm Haley Hepworth.
And I'm Hannah Broxmeyer, and this has been a semester behind the glass.